I'm Alan Girding, and this is Mothershow, the show that's... Come on. I'm Alan Girding, and this is Mothershow, the show all about Mothership, and this is part of TKtv. If you're not familiar with TKtv, it is the Tuesday Night Games YouTube channel. We try our best to get you new content every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now, what is Tuesday Night Games? Tuesday Night Games is the company that has made games such as Two Rooms and a Boom, Matt Fantastic's That's Not Lemonade, and Anthony Birch's World Championship Russian Roulette. But that's not what we're talking about today, no. Today we're talking about Mothership, Sean McCoy's Sci-Fi Horror Roleplaying Game. We've had Mothership out for a couple of years now, and it's always been in this early access pre-alpha edition. We call this version 0, but we're excited that the official version is coming to Kickstarter Tuesday, November 2nd at 9 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, in the box set edition. So what are we talking about today in this video? Today, we're going to talk about the Kickstarter campaign and what you can expect as a Mothership fan. Or even if you're not a Mothership fan, maybe this video will entice you to become a Mothership fan. Why should you care about the Kickstarter campaign? Why should you back immediately on November 2nd? Well, I'll give you a whole bunch of reasons in today's episode, and there's even an incentive for early backers, and I'll put that at the end of the video. But before I start giving you details all about how we're gonna handle the Mothership campaign on Kickstarter, I first want to tell you a bit about TKtv and what we're going to be doing during this month-long Kickstarter campaign. We're gonna have a new episode, all Mothership related, every Tuesday night in the month of November until the campaign ends on December 2nd, which is a Thursday. A week from today is November 2nd. Hope you back early at 9 in the morning, but at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a live episode of TKtv with a Q&A session with the creator himself, Sean McCoy, and myself, Alan Girding. But if you have any questions about Mothership and what the heck's going on in the Kickstarter campaign, anything you think I didn't cover well enough here, or maybe you come up with new ideas and new questions, maybe you're confused about something, maybe you're excited about something, ask us. But it's live, so you're gonna wanna tune in at 8:30 next week, November 2nd. That's the first Tuesday in November. It's a week from the day that I've uploaded this here video. Well, what's gonna happen after that? Well, the next Tuesday, on November 9th at 8:30, always, we're gonna have an episode that is all about the differences from 0 edition Mothership to 1st edition Mothership. The pre-release early access edition that everyone's been loving and playing versus the box set edition, which is gonna be on Kickstarter starting November 2nd at 9 in the morning. I keep on repeating that because I want you to remember that date so you can back early to get the goods. What are we gonna be doing a week after the 9th? Well, that's gonna be the 16th. And that's where we're gonna have a nice sneak peek for you for the player survival guide. This is gonna be something where we're gonna take you page to page to page so you get your grubby little hands on some early access material. With that in mind, let's time out for a second and let me remind you, everything you see is still not definitively finished. We still have time before we send anything to the printers. That means art is subject to change, what's written is subject to change, anything's subject to change. And you as a viewer could have some influence on that. More importantly, if you're a backer on Kickstarter, you can send us messages, leave comments in the Kickstarter campaign, and we'll listen to you. And if you have something that you catch, maybe something's wrong, maybe something you prefer, let us know, and we can change it. But with that in mind, we're gonna do our best job to give you a sneak peek and dive in to that player survivor guide. Nice. So what happens the week after that? Well, TKtv on November 23rd, which is gonna be the first, second, third, 4th week of the campaign and the 4th week of Mothership content on TKtv, we're gonna have an actual play. You're gonna get to see the game played in action. It won't be a live playthrough, so it's not gonna be a playcast that's live, but we're gonna edit it up for you. It's gonna be myself as a player, and who's gonna be the warden? the creator himself, Sean McCoy. But I'm gonna need a co-pilot for this. I need not just myself, I'm gonna have another player. And right now we're thinking it's gonna be Lindsay Road, or as I like to affectionately call her, Buttface McGee. So Buttface McGee's gonna be coming on, and she, if you don't know her, is a game designer from Rose Gauntlet Entertainment. But Lindsay Road and I in the past have butted heads with one another. We affectionately love each other as bestie friends, but we also clash when it comes to our gaming styles. So somehow we're gonna have to learn how to work together in order to beat whatever crazy encounters Sean McCoy throws our way in the sci-fi horror role-playing game known as Mothership. Hey, I may just be a hologram, but as a hologram coming to you, I'm really excited about this Kickstarter campaign. Of course, I'm biased because I'm a part of Tuesday Night Games. Even if I wasn't one of the co-owners of Tuesday Night Games, I'd still be a huge Mothership fan. I've played a crap ton of Mothership, and I'm looking forward to playing more in front of you all as part of the actual play. That leaves us just one last week of TKtv videos, and that will be November 30th. We will have another live Q&A session. Remember, the Q&A is going to be live. Dates to keep in mind is you want to tune in November 2nd to Kickstarter to back right away, but you'll also want to tune in at 8:30 for the live Q&A session, and there's another live Q&A session at the end of the campaign on November 30th at 8:30, part of TKtv. Why have another live Q&A session at the end of the campaign? You'll get to see all the juicy stretch goals that have unlocked, and maybe you'll have more questions about the stretch goals. But without further ado, let me dive into some of the material that you'll be seeing in this Kickstarter campaign. Enough about TKtv and the schedule of events and videos that will be coming. Instead, let's go ahead and start looking at this beautiful thing. Shazam! What? Oh my goodness. You're looking at two different editions. The standard box set, but then you have the deluxe box set. And look at that beautiful art on both of them. Now, the Mothership standard box, as you can see, has what looks like the original art from the Player Survivor Guide that was released and everyone knows and loves. And you can still get a hold of that right now, even if you're not back in the Kickstarter campaign, but we hope you want to go with the box set so you can get all the goodies that are in it. What's in the box set? Shh. One step at a time. Keep your pants on. We'll get there. But then we have this deluxe set right here, right? Look at this beautiful deluxe set. I can tell you right now, I already know that art's going to change. So don't get too attached to this art. It is beautiful, and it will be of a similar style, we think, but this is just a placeholder art for this, so you get an idea of what the deluxe set is gonna look like. You want some other images of this? Whoosh bam! Oh my goodness, now they're standing up. These things can stand up? Heck yeah, they can. You want another view? Whoosh boom! Whoa! Now we're looking at a top-down view to show you that these things are indeed three-dimensional and you'll be able to touch them. Let's talk about campaign pledge levels. You're interested in Mothership? Here you go. This is the difference between the core set and also the deluxe set. And if you look at this image here, you can see what's encircled by the core set is the Player Survivor Guide, the Warden's Operation Manual, and the unconfirmed contact reports, and all of the stretch goals. But there are going to be differences in the Player Survivor Guide because, again, this is going to be version 1, first edition, whereas everything else was early access edition 0. You'll also notice that the other Mothership handbooks, guidebooks, whatever you want to call them, manuals, talking about the Warden's Operation Manual and the unconfirmed contact reports, those are in a white border, a white book. Why? Why go from the black to the white? Couple of reasons. The main one being anything in black signifies that that's a player's book. Anything that's in white signifies that's for the Warden's hands and eyes only. So if you're just a player, you don't want to be peeking into the Warden's Operation Manual or the unconfirmed contact reports. Now, if you're familiar with Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games, you may be familiar with this 3-book setup. It's pretty iconic and pretty traditional. You got your player's guide, your player survival guide as we call it, but then you have what would equate to the GM's guide, and that's the Warden's Operation Manual. And instead of a bestiary or monster manual, you get the unconfirmed contact reports. Everything's spot on with the theme. You should also notice that the art is very similar in these 3 books. Why is the art so similar? Because it's all done by the creator himself, my business partner, Sean McCoy. So Sean has done the art for all of these books. Beautiful stuff. But now if we go to the deluxe set, what do you get in the deluxe set? Well, of course, everything you get in the core set, but you're also going to get Dead Planet, Pound of Flesh, and Gradient Descent, and of course all the stretch goals, that's included too. But what is Dead Planet, a Pound of Flesh, Gradient Descent? If you didn't already know, well, those are kind of our supplemental modules. They're toolkits, if you will. They may have an adventure in there, yes they do, but they also have a lot of resources for the Wardens. So instead of it just being a one and done thing where you play the adventure that's in any of these and then you just throw it away, no, not in this case, because there's a lot of supplemental material. For instance, in A Pound of Flesh, my favorite, it tells you how you can make your own space stations and how to populate them, etc. Dead Planet tells you how to make your own ship that's floating in space, a derelict ship that's been abandoned. You get to roll dice, it's pretty clever. Gradient Descent is the equivalent of a mega dungeon. Now right away, some people will ask, wait a second, these have already come out in previous Kickstarter campaigns. That is correct. Dead Planet didn't have its own Kickstarter campaign. But if I already own these, should I get these again? You don't have to. That's why it's the deluxe set. This is kind of an all-in. However, there is a slight incentive to upgrade to the deluxe set even if you own these three. You don't need to, but there are some minor differences between first edition and zero edition. Between the box set, which is on Kickstarter November 9th, and the early access, which has been out for a couple of years now. And therefore, if you back at the deluxe set, you're gonna get the updated versions of Dead Planet, A Pound of Flesh, and Gradient Descent. Updated versions! Let's move on. The Player Survivor Guide. Updated streamlined rules, lightning fast character creation, and tons of new gear. You wanna know what the differences are gonna be between this Survivor Guide and the other Survival Guide? You see it right here. There are some rule changes, rule tweaks. Is it a complete overhaul? Is this a totally different game? No. In fact, a lot of the differences has to do with playtesting and finding where there may have been a little bit of kink. If anything, it's even more streamlined. It's even more elegant. If you want to know the specific differences between Zero Edition Survivor Guide and the box set Survival Guide, we're going to cover that next week in TKtv, where Sean and I will go into detail about each of the differences between these two versions. And I'm very confident that if you're a fan, you'll be happy. And if you're new to Mothership and you're curious, you'll also be happy, because long story short, it's better. It's better. It's everything you love and more. Smoother. Not overwhelming, smoother. All right, let's move on from this one. The Shipbreaker's Toolkit. What is this? Well, it's in black. That tells you right away. Anyone can take a look into this without any plot spoiling. You may be saying, Alan, I didn't see this in the previous pick of what's in the core set and the deluxe pledge levels. That's because this is a stretch goal. If we get enough backers, we're gonna have the Shipbreaker's Toolkit, which is all about ship-to-ship combat. 10 plus ready-to-play customizable spacecrafts, streamlined ship-to-ship combat rules, build and repair a salvage wreck. If you have some questions about spacecrafts, spaceships, space travel, it's gonna be in the Shipbreaker's Toolkit. What else do we have coming in this Kickstarter campaign, you ask? Well, how about this? Boom! The unconfirmed contact reports. Well, we already talked a bit about this. This will include 40 plus fully illustrated unique horrors, 100 plus in-world prompts, and a guide to designing your own creatures. And this is one of the things that I love about Mothership, is you don't know what's out there. Like Dungeons and Dragons, troll, fire. Gotta hit it with fire so it doesn't heal, because them trolls heal quickly. Goblins, we know what goblins are. But here, these are unconfirmed contact reports. And the reason they're called unconfirmed contact reports, that alludes to this idea where people aren't even exactly sure what they're seeing. And maybe some of it's been exaggerated from someone whose mind who has been shattered from this horrific experience they've had. Maybe it's been exaggerated as it's been told from person to person. Or maybe, this is the other way that I like to think of it, maybe it's actually been undercut. The descriptions people hear don't do it justice. It's actually more horrific. You can't even exaggerate the horribleness of the creatures in the unconfirmed contact reports because They're unconfirmed. You don't even really know what you might be encountering. Unseen, unheard of horrors await in Mothership, the sci-fi horror role-playing game. Oh man, I'm excited. I hope you are too. I don't know why I'm whispering. And here's a closer look at the Warden's operations manual. Custom fit the game for your table, generate random horror scenarios, grow your one-shot to an ongoing campaign. Here are all the pro tips, references any Warden would want. Again, this is akin to the Dungeons & Dragons Game Master's Guide or Dungeon Master's Guide. And I'm gonna take a moment to appreciate the art right there. Pretty nice stuff. So with that in mind, hopefully now you have a strong understanding of what you can expect in the Mothership box set Kickstarter campaign coming next week, November 2nd at 9 a.m. But if you're an early backer, what do you get to reward yourself? Well, how about this? What the heck is that? That is an early backer patch. You will be accredited as being part of the launch crew. And we have Survive, Solve, and Save. Only pick 2 as a continuing reference in Mothership, because Mothership is so horrific and so dangerous. You can only pick 2 of the following 3: Survive, Solve, or Save. I love this philosophy because if you could do all 3, the game wouldn't be horrific enough. If you solve the case, you know what's going on, you understand what that thing is on the other side of that door, and you save the day, mission accomplished, the chances are pretty good that you're dead. If you're alive and you survived this whole mission, this whole encounter, well, the chances are you either failed your mission or you beat your mission, but you have no idea what the heck is going on. You're leaving questions totally unanswered. That little catch motto, if you will, can be yours that you can put right on your Mothership gear. If you got a bomber's jacket, maybe you got a bag that you're keeping all your Mothership patches on, you can slap that one right on there. If you back early enough, day 1 backers, November 2nd, go ahead and make sure you back that November 2nd at 9 a.m. and you'll get that patch as part of your pledge. Patches are a big deal in the Mothership world. When you create a character, you roll on a D100 to see what kind of patch that your character likes to sport around. But also, with every single release we've had so far, we've had a unique patch for these releases through Kickstarter, whether it be from Gradient Descent or A Pound of Flesh, and they usually have very key meanings. I'm telling you, you can get the launch crew patch if you back early on. I know I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. I can't wait for so much more Mothership. I can't wait to see how the campaign goes. Hopefully you found this video tantalizing. And if you want to be notified of when we're going live next, because remember, next week's pretty important as we're doing the live Q&A session right here in TKtv on YouTube, you may want to hit that bell notification so you're alerted once we go live. Of course, we appreciate it if you hit the subscribe. That way you won't miss any of these Mothership videos we got coming up. Because remember, we've got the launch next week, November 2nd, the live Q&A that same day, the Mothership differences, where we go into detail about the differences between 0 edition and this box set 1st edition. After that is the 16th, the sneak peek inside the player's survival guide. And then on the 23rd, the week after that, we've got an actual play with Lindsay Rode, myself, and the creator himself, Sean McCoy, as our game master / warden. And then after that, the end of the campaign, November 30th, we'll have one last live Q&A session. Times to remember are 8:30 for those live sessions. Hey, thank you so much. I hope you appreciated this. If you didn't, let me know with a comment. And I hope to see you next week. And I believe this little preview is finished.